The Beatles' journey to India in the late 1960s marked a pivotal moment in their musical evolution. The band's exploration of Eastern philosophy, spirituality, and music during this time played a crucial role in shaping the sound and direction of their later works. The influence of India on the Beatles not only transformed their music, but also had a profound impact on popular culture, blending Western rock with Eastern mysticism and expanding the possibilities of what music could represent. The story begins in 1968, when the Beatles traveled to India to study under Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, a prominent figure in the transcendental meditation movement. The band's decision to embark on this spiritual journey was influenced by their desire to explore deeper meanings in life and to escape the pressures of fame. In India, the Beatles found themselves immersed in a new world of spiritual teachings, yoga, and meditation. The Indian culture and its emphasis on introspection resonated deeply with them, and it wasn't long before these influences began to seep into their music. One of the most significant ways India influenced the Beatles was through their embrace of Indian classical music. In particular, the sitar, a traditional Indian string instrument, became a central element in many of their songs. George Harrison, who had already shown interest in Indian music, took the lead in incorporating the sitar into the band's sound. His fascination with Indian instruments and musical scales gave rise to some of the Beatles' most iconic tracks, such as Norwegian Wood, This Bird Has Flown, from Rubber Soul. The addition of the sitar marked a departure from the conventional rock instrumentation of the time and helped to introduce a more complex, exotic flavor to Western popular music. This experimentation with Indian sounds and instruments was not limited to just the sitar. Harrison's interest in Indian music expanded to other instruments such as the tabla, tambura, and sarod. These elements became a hallmark of the Beatles' later work, most notably on their 1968 album, The White Album, and the 1969 album, Abbey Road. Songs like Within You Without You, written by Harrison, were deeply inspired by Indian classical music and its emphasis on spirituality, meditation, and the interconnectedness of all things. The influence of Indian music helped to push the boundaries of what was possible in Western rock, adding new layers of depth and texture to the Beatles' sound. In addition to their musical experimentation, the Beatles were also profoundly influenced by the spiritual philosophy they encountered in India. The teachings of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi introduced the band members to the concept of transcendental meditation, which emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, inner peace, and a connection to the universe. This philosophy resonated with the band at a time when they were grappling with the pressures of fame and the disillusionment that came with it. As they immersed themselves in meditation and the study of Eastern philosophy, their outlook on life and their music began to shift. The influence of India on the Beatles can also be seen in their lyrics. Songs like The Fool on the Hill and Tomorrow Never Knows reflect the band's growing interest in spiritual enlightenment and the exploration of the subconscious mind. These songs, along with others from the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Magical Mystery Tour albums, were a reflection of the psychedelic culture of the 1960s, which often drew from Eastern teachings and mysticism. The Beatles' ability to blend their own experiences with the teachings they encountered in India gave their music a unique quality that resonated with listeners worldwide. Despite the band's initial enthusiasm for their time in India, the experience was not without its challenges. Their time at the Maharishi's ashram was marked by tensions within the group, and eventually, the band members left India and returned to England. However, their time in India had already left an indelible mark on their music, and its influence continued to be felt long after they left the subcontinent. The impact of India on the Beatles was not limited to their own music. The band's exploration of Eastern philosophy and spirituality helped to bring Eastern ideas into the mainstream, influencing a generation of listeners and musicians. The Beatles were instrumental in introducing the concept of meditation and Eastern philosophy to the Western world, and their embrace of Indian culture helped to popularize these ideas in the 1960s and beyond. In conclusion, the Beatles' journey to India was a transformative experience that changed the course of their music and left a lasting legacy on popular culture. Their immersion in Indian philosophy and music allowed them to push the boundaries of rock and roll, incorporating new sounds, rhythms, and spiritual ideas into their music. The Beatles' time in India helped to shape some of their most iconic work, and their exploration of Eastern culture influenced countless artists who followed in their wake. The fusion of Eastern and Western influences that the Beatles embraced helped to create a new era in music, one that continues to resonate today.